Marjorie Taylor Greene is unleashing on Donald Trump, MAGA Mike Johnson, and all MAGA Republicans who are still Trump sycophants. She's saying that MAGA Mike needs to resign. She's saying Donald Trump's term needs to end. She's saying this entire Trump movement is an utter fraud. She posted the following about MAGA Mike Johnson as there are calls that are starting to pick up within MAGA Mike's own caucus right now to kick MAGA Mike out as the speaker before this congressional term even ends. Marjorie Taylor Greene writes, if there only had been a Republican member of Congress that had tried to remove Johnson early on before he ruined everything. Oh, wait, that was me. But almost all of my colleagues voted to keep him because Trump told them to. Welp, that's what they all get for being cowards. Then, with respect to the news that U.S. gas prices have surged to the highest national average since August 2022, $4.23 per gallon for regular unleaded, driven by the escalating tensions with Iran and disruptions to global oil. Marjorie Taylor Greene writes, this is all because Trump is waging war on Iran and broke his campaign promise of no more foreign wars and no more foreign regime change. And it's only going to get worse as food prices will surely rise as well. Also, our poor truckers are paying insane prices for diesel. Next, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about the scheme that MAGA Mike Johnson and Donald Trump tried to pull to trick MAGA Republican Congress members into supporting a warrantless FISA Section 702 extension, knowing that it would then be killed in the United States Senate in order to basically try to trick MAGA Republicans to get their support. This is what Marjorie Taylor Greene says. Do you know how bad it is? So the House passed a FISA 702 reauthorization yesterday without a warrant requirement by adding a good bill that bans central bank digital currency. That's how they try to trick members of Congress. They dangle a ban on CBDC, but you have to give up the warrant requirement for Americans for FISA 702. You get one thing you want, but you have to vote for a dirty deed to get it. But Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, said that the House bill reauthorizing FISA 702 is dead on arrival because of the ban on CBDC, central bank digital currency. And Johnson knew this ahead of time, which is even slimier. So Johnson intentionally screwed over and tried to trick the MAGA Republican Congress members when making a deal. Take that in. The Republican leader in the Senate said there is no chance in hell the GOP-controlled Senate will pass a ban on a central bank digital currency, and the House and Senate together refused to pass any reauthorization of FISA 702 that requires the federal government to get a warrant from a federal judge before they use this super-duper spy tool to spy on you. So if you're still spinning under your MAGA hat, let me tell it to you in plain terms. Trump, who we all fought for and supported, and who was supposed to be the one to drain the swamp and destroy the deep state and end the foreign wars, actually is the one demanding a clean authorization of warrantless surveillance capabilities with FISA 702. And the vast majority of the Republican-controlled House and Senate refuses to pass warrant requirements for American citizens on FISA 702 and refuses to pass a bill banning a central bank digital currency where your money can be controlled. This is not me saying it. This is me telling you exactly what their actions are, literally what they are doing. And Democrats are no better, not at all. They have changed nothing about their policies that failed America, having nothing new to offer. They're only winning because Trump and Republicans betrayed campaign promises with an America last domestic agenda and another pointless foreign war in Iran. Now, because both parties are such America last losers, they are scrambling to state redistricting and gerrymandering as their political midterm strategies to fight for House seats. What a disaster.
And now I want to highlight this breaking news story just in from the New York Times. A major global summit is happening right now. Nearly 60 countries meeting in Colombia to figure out how to phase out fossil fuels. But here's the headline. The United States was not even invited. This comes as the world is dealing with what experts are calling one of the biggest energy crises in history, fueled in large part by the ongoing U.S. war in Iran. Countries right now are facing shortages, rising prices, even rationing fuel. And instead of leading the transition to clean energy, the United States has pulled back, reversing course on climate commitments and pushing more oil and gas. So what you're seeing now is the rest of the world trying to move forward without the United States, building what they're calling a coalition of the willing to accelerate the shift to renewable energy. This is a pivotal moment. Climate policy, global economics, national security, it's all colliding right now. Okay, well now it's your turn to make noise. What do you think of this story, our climate reports in general, everything we're covering here? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them. Okay,
then
Ben,
in the Oval Office, Donald Trump looked at Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, Brian Glenn, and Trump's like, I love this guy, even though I don't love his girlfriend. This was Donald Trump's attack to try to embarrass Marjorie Taylor Greene by attacking her boyfriend in the Oval Office yesterday. Here, play this clip.
You act so good. I love this. He's a great guy. Even though I don't love his girlfriend too much, okay? I won't tell you who the girlfriend is. But I like him, and I've always liked him. It's great that he hasn't changed.
So then Marjorie Taylor Greene responded, and earlier in the day, she did an interview with Tucker Carlson. Both Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson, who were super Trump supporters, super MAGA, now despise Donald Trump. And every day, both Tucker and Marjorie and Candace Owens and even Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes and that whole MAGA right-wing crew, they are out there calling Donald Trump out for betraying the MAGA movement. So Marjorie Taylor Greene meets up with Tucker Carlson, and Marjorie Taylor Greene says, look, all of these special interests chewed up and spit out and swallowed Donald Trump whole and made sure he was completely owned by special interest in the government of Israel. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene, Donald Trump's former top supporter. They were as close as can be. Here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene says. Let's play this clip.
The Republican Party, they learned nothing, Tucker. We gave them the strongest message that can be sent. It was a mandate in 2024. The mandate was no more foreign wars and put Americans first. And the Republican Party did nothing. What they did is they came in and they used the same system that swings like a pendulum back and forth between whoever's in charge. And they brought that big, powerful lobby and their donors and their industries, and they basically swallowed Donald Trump whole and made sure that he was completely owned and controlled by the government of Israel and whatever war they want to fight. So where does that leave us going forward? My hopes is when I resigned from Congress, I wanted the American people to understand something, that me leaving doesn't leave them in any worse position. They are already in the worst position. Me leaving doesn't mean that no one's there fighting for them. It means that even when I was there fighting as hard as I possibly could, I could stop nothing. But it's really up to the American people to change it.
And then Marjorie Taylor Greene was not done there. She also called out MAGA Republicans like Lindsey Graham and Mike Lawler and all of these people who she goes are the most phony, disgusting people. Here, play this clip.
Now, here's where the American people have a job to do. It's the American people that keep reelecting the Lindsey Grahams and the Mike Lawlers and all the disgusting people that most Republican voters say they hate, but yet somehow they keep voting for them. I think they should change that.
Marjorie Taylor Greene says then the reason that she resigned from Congress is because she refuses to be part of a party that lies to America. Here, play this clip.
Another thing is, look, I don't want Democrats to win because I don't support their policies either, but why am I afraid of Republicans losing? I'm not. I resigned from Congress because I refuse to be a part of, and I refuse to support a party that lied to the American people and is completely selling them out.
You heard that? She called Republicans a sellout and Trump a sellout. And then she goes on to talk about how Our government, the United States of America, should be serving the American people. And then she goes, but Donald Trump seems more focused on Israel. Play this clip.
But our government, the United States of America, should be serving the American people and the American people's interest first and foremost at all times, 100%, and should not be easily dragged off into bombing Iran or paying to fund all types of military equipment and weapons to perform genocide on Gaza or Christians in Lebanon and villages in Lebanon and taking their land. The hypocrisy of it is beyond, it's unspeakable. The King of England, King Charles, spoke to Congress this week and literally demanded that the United States of America go to war with Russia because Russia invaded Ukraine, which is absurd. Yet no one is demanding the United States stop supporting Israel, as they have literally and are at this moment doing the same thing to Lebanon.
And she says that Republicans are also being brainwashed. Here, play this clip.
I don't know what that is, Tucker, and I don't know why it's that way. I think there's been a brainwashing that's happened in this country, and it's happened a lot through evangelical churches. It's happened a lot through just a lot of churches, honestly. And the message has been told to the American people over and over and over and over again that we have to support Israel at all costs, at all times, no matter what. And there's, tragic events that have helped shape many Americans' views to support that, such as 9/11 and such as other horrific terrorist incidences here in America, but also what we've been fed on the television of suicide bombers in Israel and so forth. They don't ever show the other side of what happened, but they show that nonstop. Now, so that has hardened many Americans to believe that America has to support Israel at all costs, no matter what. They use the verse in Genesis, use that against Americans, Christian or not, to believe that if you don't bless Israel, then you're going to be cursed by God. And that's absolutely not true. And you've talked about that a lot.
And then Marjorie Taylor Greene goes on to say, you know what's so interesting? No one ever talks about Kim Jong-un anymore, right? Like, wasn't like the biggest deal that Kim Jong-un was trying to get like nuclear weapons, and he would do the ballistic missiles and cruise missile tests. So Donald Trump falls in love with Kim Jong-un. They send each other love letters during Donald Trump's first term. Donald Trump goes to North Korea. There's the handshake moment. And then Donald Trump lets Kim Jong-un get nuclear weapons. And now we learned earlier in the day that Kim Jong-un is making enough warheads and has developed enough missile capabilities to evade any and all United States defense systems. In fact, North Korea is producing so much nuclear weapons that other than the United States, China, and Russia, North Korea is going to have more nuclear weapons than just about everybody. I'm old enough to remember when under former President Obama, every ballistic missile or cruise missile test by Kim Jong-un was a front page story and was like, look how Obama's weak. Kim Jong-un is testing ballistic missiles and cruise missiles. And Obama did not allow Kim Jong-un to get a nuclear weapon. And Obama was able to negotiate successfully with Iran and to do a non-nuclear deal to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon enforced by a multilateral coalition that was effective until Donald Trump blew up the non-nuclear deal. Donald Trump allowed Kim Jong-un to get nuclear weapons. And then our corporate news that is so sheepish, that is so compliant, that is so utterly lame, doesn't even call the guy out for it. I mean, do you see what's happening? And here, Marjorie Taylor Greene calls him out. Let's play this clip right here.
What America has to do. But nobody ever talks about, Tucker, nobody ever talks about the fact that Israel has nuclear weapons. Israel has hundreds of nuclear weapons. Like, who's really going to mess with Israel at the end of the day? They have nuclear weapons. It's just like, do you ever see anybody freaking out about Kim Jong-un anymore in North Korea?
No,
because he has nuclear weapons. So what a lie it is that we really have to support Israel.
And folks, this is part of a broader movement of former MAGA who have left the MAGA movement. We see this reflected in the polls. And I'll just share with you a clip right here, just for example of, a MAGA Ohio supporter who echoes these sentiments. Let's play this clip.
King voted for Trump in 2016, again in 2024, but he's voting for Democrats in 2026 because he believes the country needs to send Trump a midterm message.
I am pro-military, and we have a strong need to protect this country. I know there are threats, and I know there are enemies that want to see the downfall of this country. But you can't be flippant about war. You cannot.
Conversations with friends here and fellow veterans across the country convince him big change is coming.
The shine's kind of coming off the Trump presidency. Really kind of see through the true core of who he is versus what he campaigned on.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you all think. Hit subscribe.